All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Restoring Rapport podcast. We're super excited for the content we got planned out for you guys today. As always, this is a podcast for young believers who are pursuing the goal of marriage and family and looking to get married as young as possible in a healthy way. I'm your host, Seth. I come on twice a week, every week on Thursday and Sunday to discuss not only the benefits of getting married young, but I attempt to equip and encourage you in your pursuit of this goal. And today we are going to be reviewing a video entitled How to Meet New Women Without Feeling Awkward by Brett Cooper. It's actually conducted by the host of the Modern Wisdom podcast, Chris Williamson. So if you have not checked him out, be sure to go and do that before or after you listen to this episode. And again, the reason that I'm reviewing this is because a large percentage of our audience, about 75% of our audience, is young men ages 18 to 24 who are, again, followers of Jesus Christ and looking to pursue their, not only the goal God has for their life as a husband, but also find their mate. And so you're going to need to be able to communicate and talk well with the opposite sex. And so hopefully this video will give you a lot of insight. You're probably, hopefully you're already good at this, but maybe it will help you in your communication with the girls that you're meeting. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in and see what they say.
What advice would you give to guys who want to attract and find a good woman?
Work on yourself for sure. Be constantly improving, both in terms of your career, your intelligence and the way that you think about the world, the physical shape that you're in. That says so much to women. And I know that a lot of women kind of look at that in a superficial way, but I look at that as like you are truly prepared to protect. You're willing to go to bat for me, for our future children. You care about my health more than I care about my health. That was a huge thing that I had to get over.
Obviously, I think everyone pretty much knows those first three things: be in good shape physically, intellectually, emotionally, and financially. Have a good job, be able to provide for your family, be able to protect them from not only bad ideologies that would seek to disrupt your future family. You've got to be able to defend against harmful, parasitic sort of worldviews. So you've got to be intellectually formidable is one way that people have put it before that I've heard. You have to be emotionally formidable. So you have to be able to handle the problems that are kind of going to come up in your marriage and solve those because you have to have emotional intelligence and to be able to solve those. So work on yourself there. And what that would look like practically. People know what, physically being prepared to defend your wife and children looks like. It's just strengthening your body. Being emotionally prepared to deal with, enemies that would seek to disrupt your family and your marriage looks like probably having hard conversations and practicing that with lots of people in your life so that you're not only equipped to do that, but you've done it before and can do it again. And then the next one she mentioned was being financially prepared and ready and strong. And so that looks like just working your way up the job ladder, really, or just having a plan and being, putting the action into that plan to make enough money to support a family. And so if you can do those things, I think that's a great way to start, like she said. But I do want to get into the practical ways that you can actually find people who are not only in a similar season to yourself, but have a similar worldview. And, the more people you can find in that kind of situation, the greater the odds that one of them you will find attractive and the greater the odds that she will find you attractive. So those are going to be kind of this. I'm going to give you the practicals later, but those three things, again, being intellectually, physically, emotionally, and financially formidable are going to be assets to you in your endeavors to find a woman.
He was like, you are going to go to the gym. You are going to take these supplements. A leader, being able to be assertive and take initiative is huge. I also think, and this is the complicated one that I've been talking about on the show, is understanding the nuances in dating. Women are very confusing, which it sucks, but we are. And there's very little emotional things that we do. But being able to understand if a woman is actually interested and knowing how to carry on a conversation before you even ask her out, that's key to just getting in the door. Of being able to create a connection over something that's not dating and over your interest in her, whether it's, physical or you just think she's an interesting person, just seeing if that connection is even there and kind of playing that dating game, that back and forth, that sets you up for success in more ways than one. That is I feel like has a much higher batting average than just, going up and saying, can I have your number and hoping that it works out. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that is actually how most people are meeting today. And I do actually want to show you a really cool graphic that I found on Instagram the other day, guys. And it's just basically showing you how people are meeting today in the modern world. And it wasn't specific to just Christians, but I think that it's something that, we can learn from. Again, I think it was just in the United States, but I'll show it to you right here. It's just a little Instagram reel that somebody shared, and you can see these numbers here going up. This is how couples met starting in the year 1930, from 1930 to 2024. And as the time goes up, we're right about midway through the 1950s right now. You can see that the biggest way people met was through friends. So not approaching some random person in public. That's not how most people met, even as far back as 1950s to 1970s. Friends were almost, by far the best way to meet your future spouse. This was followed by coworkers, bars, families, schools, colleges, neighbors, church, and online starts skyrocketing in the 2000s. You can see it just taking off right now and passing up friends, guys. So now by 2015, 2016, online, finding your spouse online is like you're 4 times more likely to find your spouse online than you were through any other method, at least, guys. And that is just wild to me. And this has proved true. I'm not just actually spouting some statistic that doesn't align with my individual experience, because this is actually my story. I met my wife online through Instagram, through social media networking. And basically, again, I've gone over this so much on the show because it really is, I really believe this method is something that you can try that it has a greater likelihood of yielding a spouse than any other method of finding a partner. And, I've tried everything. I've tried online dating. I've tried matchmakers. I've tried churches. I've tried workplaces, college. I tried to find a spouse in every single one of those ways. Just walking up to random people, same thing. I've tried literally every strategy you could possibly try, and they either didn't work or they yielded results, but they weren't results that lasted. And I think the best way to find a spouse in the modern world, as you could see just from that little graphic I shared with you about, basically most, like a huge percentage of people are finding their spouse online now. And I don't think that's because of online dating. So throw that out the window. I don't think online dating works for many reasons, not the least of which usually the girl cannot even see your picture because unless she's paying for the service, most of these dating sites are not going to allow her to even see what you look like, which is a huge factor in a woman going out, deciding whether or not she wants to go out with a person she's never met before. And so let's set aside online dating. I don't think that usually works. What I do think works is going onto your social media feed. In fact, if you have not tried this and you are single and looking to pursue God's goal for you as a married husband or wife, and you've been having a hard time finding a spouse, go onto your social media feed right now. If for some reason you don't have social media, you're going to need to get that. And I know most people have that, but you're going to need to get that for this method. So you get a social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. And then you need to have, most people have a friends list that's probably around 200 to 500 people. And so you need to go on that friends list and you need to go through your friends list and find all the people that you trust. Okay. So just make a list of all the people on your Facebook friends list that you trust and could approach and ask questions, that you're going to need answers to. Okay. From that list, you're going to start going down that list and looking at those people, looking at their friends list. Okay. So you go to their profile, all the people that you trust, you start going to their profile. You look through their friends list and you find any woman who is your age, you find attractive, looking to get married, a follower of Jesus, and you message your friend that you trust about her, saying something like this: "Hey, I noticed you were friends with this person so-and-so on Facebook. She came up in my feed and I thought she was really attractive, but I wasn't sure if she was into dating right now or anything. So before I ask her if she's interested in going on a date or anything, would you mind telling me not only if she's a good person for me to get to know, but if she's even interested in dating right now at all? Thanks so much. Have a great day." Your friend is then going to do one of two things: either get back to you saying, hey man, yeah, this is an awesome opportunity. She is available. I know that. Let me facilitate a meeting between you two, or give her your number, and then we'll see if there's any interest there. Your friend will definitely, at least if they have a relationship with the person you're interested in, talk to that girl and say, hey, there's this guy I know who he messaged me on Facebook asking if you were interested in dating right now. Of course, no pressure if you aren't, but I just wanted to see, here's a picture of his profile. And then based on her answer, your friend will either get back to you with a positive or a negative response. And you can kind of then know if you need to move on to the next person or not. And the advantage that this method has over online dating is you have a reference. Okay, online dating, you have no idea who you're getting involved with on these dates. They could be after something totally different than you. They could be, a person of low character, like a pretty bad person. They could be lying or catfishing or presenting themselves in a way that is not, something that you're looking for. And you have no idea. Okay, basically you know nothing about these people except for what they look like and how they sort of present themselves to the world. In the scenario I proposed, where you're using social media networking and you're using your friends and to basically not only facilitate a meeting and see if there's interest on the woman's part, but you're also using your friend as a character reference. Suddenly, this woman that you're interested in, now you have a reference that can tell her if you're an awesome guy or not, right? And this is a wonderful way to find a spouse. When I was looking for my wife, Heidi Evans Clark, who's one of the people that I know, and Danny Payne, who is actually my wife's dad, were the ones who were able to facilitate a meeting with my wife, who is now my wife. And how that happened was I messaged both of them for different reasons. I messaged Heidi to see if Lainey was even available, because I wasn't sure. You never know. Her profile didn't say she was taken or anything. But I had gone through my friends list, people who I trusted, and I looked through their friends list, and I found her, and I thought, man, she's so attractive. I wonder if she's dating somebody. Based on the way she's presenting herself to the world, there's no red flags. Let me ask somebody that I know about her and see if they can not only facilitate a meeting, but tell me if she's a good person, tell me if she's available at all, or tell me if she's interested in dating. So Heidi gets back to me and gives me some more information on that. I later talked to Danny, her dad, who's also on my friends list, and set up a meeting there at church to watch him play the piano. But really why I was going was to have a chance to meet her. So anyway, we met, and the rest is history. So this I know works. And if you actually want to get a meeting happening, like not just planning dates, not just, shooting a bunch of messages to random girls and hoping they give you a chance, this is a way where you can actually get in touch with someone, because she's taking less of a risk here. You gotta put yourself in her shoes, right? She doesn't know anything about you. And the world can be a dangerous place for a woman nowadays. And so she needs to, if you can go to her with a reference, like I did, having Danny, my father-in-law, my now father-in-law, and Heidi Evans Clark, they're going to be able to not only put in a good word for you, but they're also going to be able to figure out if there's even interest there on the woman's end. So guys, I really highly recommend this method. And if you want more ideas, or practically how to do this, just reach out and talk to me. I can definitely help you make this happen. I can even do it with you, like just sit down with you in a Zoom call one-on-one and do it for you. Basically, you can go through my friends list, and anybody you find attractive, I will reach out to them for you and see if there's any interest there, and facilitate a meeting. Okay, I will absolutely do this. I've done this before. It really does work. I think it's the best way you can find yourself a spouse in the modern world. So everything Brett has said so far is definitely true. But also, practically speaking, I would advise the social media networking method in order to meet a spouse online, instead of other methods like online dating and church and bars and things like that. Because again, those are limited prospects, and they all have their problems that we won't get into now. But anyway, I think this is just a great way to find a spouse in the modern world.
Laying that groundwork just so that you know if she's actually interested. I think that also makes the fear of rejection a little easier, because you actually will know, hopefully, if she's interested in what the response.
Yes, somehow.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of the time about the advantage of being around women, and one of the problems of remote work being that people are interacting less. So low stakes interaction with women is a really great way for guys to overcome their approach anxiety. Because if you're not looking for any outcome, What can you lose at? It's the barista. She is literally paid to give you your coffee.
Yeah.
So if you can say one extra sentence, and it sounds so stupid. It's the same problem as if you need to go to the gym, just do 10 push-ups a day.
Yep.
Because it starts so small that people think, well, what's the fucking point?
Yep.
Like, look, I'm not Andrew Tate with a Bugatti. Like, what's the point in me trying to do this? So, but that is literally the only way that you can get there. And
you have to take that step. You have to show up at a location in person where there will be women, whether it is whether it is a group workout class.
Pickleball.
There you go. I have a problem with pickleball though.
What? Come on. Okay, here we go. First disagreement.
I did an episode about this. I got reamed in the comments.
Yeah, well, rightly so.
Yeah, well, the problem that I had and that it sparked this episode is I went to a farmer's market in Nashville. There was a tennis court next door to the farmer's market. It was all men playing pickleball. I'm sorry, it was the gayest thing I've ever seen. And it was so, oh my gosh. I was like, play tennis. Anyway, but I also think that was just the demographic in that part of Nashville.
Definitely. I mean, there's guys, pickleball is like the fastest growing sport in the world today. Reach out in the comments, either on social media or YouTube, and let me know what you think of pickleball. But I think pickleball is great. So I don't know. I think that was just probably a selective, pickleball area that she witnessed there. But I do kind of disagree with him on the getting out there and putting yourself out there in person. That's all well and good, and I think that can work and has worked for a lot of people. But again, think about the cons of doing that. So, you see a woman in public, you think is attractive. You don't know anything about her. You don't know her worldview. You don't know her religious beliefs. You don't know anything that you need to know other than the fact that you find her attractive, which, granted, is important. But that's not the only thing that's important, right? And so you're approaching this woman and trying to facilitate a date when you absolutely know nothing about her. So I think that's the biggest problem with it. Also, it puts the woman in an awkward position because if she's approached by a man that she doesn't know in public, number one, she could be alarmed. Now, I don't think she should be alarmed because, especially if you do it in the right way, I don't think it's alarming for two people to talk to each other in public. So she could be alarmed though, because some women are intimidated by men who just walking up to them and talking to them. For whatever reason, I think that shouldn't be the way it is, but for whatever reason, I think that's the way it is. So that's the first problem. And also, she doesn't know anything about you either. And how is she supposed to turn you down if she's not interested? Like, it's very, very hard for a woman to bold-faced, point-blank say to a man, hey, I'm so sorry, I just don't think you're attractive, or I just don't want to go on a date with you. I'm so sorry. Like, it's very difficult. So usually what women end up doing is resorting to lying or communicating something that's not entirely true, giving you a fake number, saying they have a boyfriend, saying they're just healing their heart right now, that kind of thing. And it's like, okay, don't make her lie. Just give her a way of meeting you that doesn't involve her having to turn you down to your face. And that's, again, one of the strengths that I see to the social media networking method is she does not have to turn you down to your face, right? If she's not interested in the profile that, your mutual friend shows her, then she'll just won't show any interest to your mutual friend, and your mutual friend won't get back to you with a favorable response. She doesn't ever have to talk to you and turn you down, right? And you're not going to scare her in approaching her either. And so that's just a huge benefit that I think the method I suggested has over in-person interactions. Now, again, I'm not saying anything against them. Maybe it's worked for you in the past, and congratulations, man. Glad it worked. But I am saying that if you've been struggling to find a spouse and all the methods you're using to try and find a spouse have not been working, please give my method a shot. And
I looked at that and I was like, go to a boxing gym, something. Anyway,
short denim shorts, cutoffs.
Yeah, the shortest shorts imaginable.
Fantastic.
They went to Lululemon, got the 5-inch, and then had them tailored.
This is liberating for men. This is what we want to do.
This is what you want. You want
this is what we want to do. Yeah.
Well, if you want it, then that's great.
You know those things like, I wonder if he's thinking about me.
Yes.
And then it cuts to what the guy's actually doing, and it's him high-fiving with his homies with his top off in 3-inch shorts. This is what guys want to do. Stop oppressing us.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
The patriarchy is coming back around through pickleball.
I'm so glad.
Thank you.
I'll shut down the matriarchy. Well, no, and I learned my lesson from that.
Right,
I don't really enjoy pickleball. Mm-hmm. I played tennis growing up, and so that also probably feeds into my feelings about it. But still, going to playing pickleball with people, showing up to those leagues, joining in Nashville at Centennial Park, they always do soccer and softball and volleyball during the summer. You can just join these rec leagues. Go do that.
Have you seen this ascendancy of like 5K run clubs?
Yes.
Yeah, I think run clubs are basically they're a dating organization masquerading as a fitness pursuit.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's what it is. Because no one goes to the run club for the running bit. I've seen these things. People walk half of them.
Yes.
But everybody's got their brand new Saucony or New Balance.
They're new Hokas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And tiny pair of shorts, and they get to run along and sweaty and see if the other, he's that guy from last week again.
Yeah.
So
again, and that's okay. What you just said, that guy from last week, that is also key. Repeatedly going to the same place with the same group of people. And again, laying that groundwork.
Stalking.
Yes, exactly. I need you to stalk. No.
Well, here's the problem with going to the same place with the same group of people. Again, I think that can work. And I would definitely advise you do the club or the fitness thing or whatever, just to, if for no other reason than to get yourself in shape and if you enjoy it. But also, the reason I don't think a lot of those work a lot of time is because if you're showing up over and over and over to the same place, you can find yourself in a situation where there are no prospects there, but you're continually putting time into it. It's like, okay, what's your goal here? Is your goal to play soccer, play volleyball, play, do a running, marathon, whatever? Is that your goal, or is your goal to find a spouse? Because if your goal is to just do the challenge, the endeavor, the hobby, whatever, like go for it, keep going there, absolutely, make friends. But if you're looking to find a spouse, I mean, you can stop going pretty immediately if there are no prospects. And this is what I think a lot of people don't do, is they go into these places looking for a spouse, and you can very quickly assess whether or not there is a potential spouse in that particular club. Number one, just by looking at the clientele. So like, is there anybody who's a woman your age? Like, if not, you're probably not going to find somebody there just immediately. That's an easy litmus test to run. Beyond that, is there any woman there your age who you find attractive? If the answer is no, again, continuing to go to that fitness club, I would say, is a waste of time, and a waste of time for not only your time, but a waste of time for the woman if you end up pursuing somebody you're not interested in. Number three, is there a woman there who's your age, who you find attractive, and who is a believer? So then it just, again, it keeps narrowing down. And if there's nobody there who fits in that description, I would say that it's probably not a good idea for you to keep going if your ultimate goal is to find a spouse. Beyond that, is there somebody who is your age, is attractive, is a believer, and is somebody that is actually moving towards the goal of marriage, and you feel confident in her ability to stick around, and she's interested in you? And then suddenly that's a really small window. That's a really, really small window, okay? So again, going over and over to a group for weeks and weeks and weeks and months is, I would argue, a great way to waste time, because during those weeks and weeks and months, you could have contacted 500, not 500 friends online, but you could have had friends online that you could have contacted about, 10, 20 different people that were all great marriage prospects for you, because they checked all those major boxes. Because again, the beauty of this social media networking method is it widens your net, guys. Instead of just throwing your net into your friendship circles, you're throwing your net into your friends' friendship circles. Okay. And suddenly, everybody has a reference that way, and somebody to vouch for your character. And so that's why I think my method is a great way. Please, if you have tried it, reach out and let me know how it went. Again, that's how I found my wife, and that's by far the best way of finding a partner that I've ever come across.
But the low stakes environment where you are having to grow a relationship over, say, 6 weeks of like, you're going to this run club every single week. You meet a girl, you banter, whatever, you run along, talk to somebody else. The next week she's there, pick up the conversation. Just being able to...
It's wild that this is revolutionary.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
Again, but that goes back to my point of my generation just has not had to do that. Yeah. And it's all been so digital. And then mixed in with our social skills just have been totally warped by the digital age, and COVID didn't help at all. And I mean, the majority of my college experience was online. So when people talk about, you learned to date in college, the people who graduated around my year in 21, nope.
Learn to date online.
Yeah.
While
in your Zoom.
at college.
Yes. Yeah. In your Zoom class, like, this guy's kind of cute. Let me do like my private Zoom message.
A breakout.
I was like, the guy in my Zoom, breakout in my business class when we're working on our accounting, whatever. Like those were the
Super
options.
Lame. In other news, this episode
Okay. This has been a really good episode so far, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up right there. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I hope it's been insightful for you and generated a lot of value for you, particularly if you are my target audience. Again, that is young believers ages 18 to 24 who are pursuing the goal of marriage and family and try to get married as young as possible in a healthy way. And come back and listen to all the other episodes I've done. I've done hundreds and hundreds of episodes. We just crossed the line into over 300 published episodes that are now consumable on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you listen. We just started doing YouTube recently, so there are less interviews on there, but still quite a few. And please go check all those episodes out. I've done a ton of work in this because it's something I'm super passionate about, and it's something I want to help people, a problem I want to help people solve, because man, I had a miserable experience doing this when I was younger. And so if I can help you solve this problem in any way, I would love to do that. And getting you married and getting you with somebody who cares about you very much is just a dream goal for me. And so please continue to listen if you are interested in that content and that would generate a lot of value for you. Reach out and review the episode as well as comment. I would love to hear your opinion on the issues we discussed today, the video, yes, but also what I said. I would love to hear that. And again, it would make me feel super connected to you as an audience member, and it would make the podcasting system two-way. You can also follow the Restoring Report podcast on Instagram and Facebook if you're interested in the content we post. So thank you guys so much for listening today, and we will talk to you all next time.